Hello everyone and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick and today we're going to be checking out something called Cookie Clicker. This is a game that was recommended to me by a viewer. It is a browser-based game, and I want to warn you, before we get into this one, clear your freaking schedule if you plan on clicking on this cookie that you can see to the left side of the screen. This game is something like, an addictive substance, and it is very dangerous, and you should be aware that once you start, you're going to probably spend like 3 hours playing it before you finally are able to pull yourself away. You may not even be able to pull yourself away. It is extremely, extremely addictive. So, what is Cookie Clicker? It is extremely simple. That's the thing. So you click on this cookie. It says 0 cookies right now, right? I click once, I have 1 cookie. See the cookie drops into the background. I unlocked an achievement. And you'll see on the right side here, we've got a store full of different things we can buy. And our goal is to make all the cookies. So you'll see down here at the bottom, it says Time Machine requires 123,456,789 cookies. And if we were able to accumulate that many cookies by clicking, well, we would probably have carpal tunnel syndrome and be long dead. So that's probably not how we're going to do it. So why don't we just go for the first goal, which is to get to 15 cookies. Move over here to the right, it says a cursor. Auto clicks once every 10 seconds. Let's buy that. And now you'll see achievement unlocked, click, and then 2 more things are added as upgrades to our store. And now if we spend 100, the mouse gains plus 1 cookie per click, cursors gain plus 0.1 base CPS, that's cookies per second, and then there's another one, carpal tunnel prevention cream. The mouse cursors are twice as efficient, so if we get 400 cookies, then that'll be the case. So now let's click some more, we get some more cookies, and little by little, we will start to spiral out of control. Now, I'm not going to play all that much of this game because I think you'll be able to very quickly understand the concept at hand here. This is like pure distilled MMORPG essence minus all of the interactions and just distilled down to like the leveling and experience gain parts and, wrapped up in a cookie shell, if that is such a thing. So we'll continue clicking here. There are plenty of statistics to notice as well. 2 cursors producing 0.2 cookies per second. Total 8 cookies clicked, and that is basically what our automated cookie production system is doing. So you'll see now we've reached over 100 cookies. We can now hire a nice grandma to bake more cookies for 100. So let's do that. You'll see we've now got grandma's cookies added, and she is going to produce 1 grandma producing 0.5 cookies per second. Our cookies per second rate is now up to 0.7. Now, this scalability to this game is out of the freaking ballpark. When you start, you think, well, there's no way I'm ever going to make it to, 100 million cookies. That's just absurd. This is going to take somebody like 20 years to do. But then all of a sudden you start to realize things start to add up a little faster than at first you might have thought is possible. And look at this, I've already got almost 200 cookies. And I've just been clicking for a few moments here, and things just keep getting fed to you at the absolute perfect speed to keep you playing this non-stop. Now, when I started this, I said to myself, I'm going to spend like 10 minutes just trying this out and seeing what this game is about. I wasn't even sure if I was intending on ever doing a video on it or anything like that. I just wanted to try it, see what it was about. It seemed like a weird thing. I didn't really understand it. So I wanted to see why someone would want to recommend this to me. And then 4 hours later, I had a wicked headache, and I really needed to eat, and I couldn't pull myself away from my computer to go take care of my life, and that is how addictive this game is. So in about another 100 cookies, we'll be at 500 cookies, and we can buy a farm, or we can actually just buy one of these upgrades up at the top, and the decision making is up to you how you want to progress through this. Essentially, it's like a skill tree, although it doesn't exactly look like one the way you're used to. And the great thing about this game, there are no actual monetary purchases required. This is not a game that tries to, wrap you in, and then, like so many iOS apps, they hide and they obfuscate the fact that you actually have to pay real money to get ahead or anything like that. This is purely a time waster in an absolutely distilled down form, and it is very, very well done, I have to say. It's not even necessarily complete. There's actually, I believe, a lot more to come. It says at the top the version is still pretty buggy. More updates coming soon. And you'll notice at the very top here, there's also statistics, a menu, updates, and it actually sends you these little messages as you go, sort of giving you progress updates as to how exactly you're doing in terms of the overall scope of things. And then if we go into the statistics, we can see there are like 5 million achievements to unlock by playing this game for hours and hours. Upgrades as well, so 0 out of 81 unlocked, and achievements 7 out of 74. Now, in the game that I had played, I had actually put in quite a lot of time on this, and I had made a lot of progress as well. The nice thing about it is you can actually go in here, and you can save manually, although it saves every 30 seconds, or you can even export your save, and it just gives you a string of characters that you can then later import to bring you back to your progress from where you were. So you don't even have to lose the game if you want to start over, which is kind of neat. So let's go back here, and we are now back to 100 and almost 200 cookies, actually. You'll see this progress now is being reflected up here. We've got a bunch more upgrades we could potentially buy. Reinforced index finger, the mouse gains plus 1 cookie per click, and cursors gain plus 0.1 base CPS. So at this point, I'm starting to think maybe we should get some more cursor clickers involved, and you'll see our cookies per second is now skyrocketed up to 3. So the more automated cookie production you can get involved, the faster things are going to go, and also the more things you buy, the more they cost every single time. So there is sort of a balancing act going in that respect as well. And I just got another achievement there, and you'll see it keeps track also how many things of each you've bought. 5 cursors, 1 grandma, 1 farm, and then we would potentially maybe work toward buying a factory soon, and factories are going to obviously increase the speed at which we can produce cookies, and then therefore feed back into our production. It may be allowing us to eventually buy a mine, then eventually a shipment, alchemy lab portal, and time machine. And when you get to time machine, your work is still not done. You will need many, many time machines to potentially be able to buy some of the top tier upgrades and earn the top tier achievements. I believe one of them was like 99 billion cookies, which is absolutely absurd, yet I am almost positive that it will eventually unlock those things. I don't even understand what it is that I'm doing with my life that I need to click these cookies so badly. In fact, I feel like I almost hurt my hand. I was clicking this thing so rapidly for a while. I get both hands involved. I start going, oscillating back and forth or revolving between the 2 fingers, trying to drum out the fastest percussive pattern. It's absurd, the things that this game will make you do. But that is what addiction is about, and this game certainly has it in spades. It's actually got a decent UI. The thing seems responsive enough. It seems like it keeps track of everything. It's a pretty goofy premise, of course, making cookies be the whole idea, but you could really substitute cookies with just about any increment. In fact, that would be kind of a cool upgrade at one point. It'd just be like, import your own image, and then change the name, and then the currency is essentially changed from cookies to whatever you want it to be. You could call it MacGuffins if you want, and that would work out just as well. Actually, some of the sprite art is not that bad. Like, that grandma picture is actually pretty good, I have to say. So looking back here, where are we now? We're still pretty far away from having a factory, but we could buy another farm, and that would give us cookie production up to 5 per second. You'll see it's now starting to tick along. Oh, and there's one thing I forgot to mention. Actually, a couple of things I forgot to mention, but the most important thing you have to do, because you can actually leave this game running as a browser tab and just let it go. Once you get your cookie production going automated to a certain degree, if you're doing other stuff, you can multitask, just leave this running in the background. But the reason you don't necessarily want to do this, and the reason this is kind of genius, is there's actually a thing called a golden cookie that'll show up occasionally, where if you happen to see it, it'll show up anywhere in the window. If you click on it, you'll either get a huge amount of cookies all in one go, or you might get cookie production times 7, which when you're at a certain point, you might be making millions of cookies per second more. So it's a pretty big deal to find that golden cookie if you can. If you want to keep engaging in this game, positively just staring at it, like, that is one reason you might want to do that, because it's worth it if you want to hurry up your progress towards the end. There's also milk, you'll notice, at the bottom of my screen there. That milk will accumulate based on our speed of production, I assume. I'm not really sure exactly what causes it to build up, but there are actually unlocks you can get that will aid in allowing kittens to come and help you make cookies. And the more milk you have, the more the kittens will help your CPS, which is, again, cookies per second, in case you forgot. And the stuff going on in the background, the cookies that are falling from the sky, that will increase in volume massively as we get more and more cookies on regular production. We can do upgrade forward from grandma. Grandma's increased by 0.3 base CPS. It's an okay strategy, I suppose, but you'd want to have a lot of grandmas before you invested in something like that, because some of these upgrades are really centered around specifically gearing yourself in one specific strategy, essentially. I want to get this factory done but I don't think we're going to do it because we're still going a bit slow. I could get more cursors. I mean, there are only 30 cookies per, so I probably should stock up on cursors. Now we're at a 5.5 CPS. And again, keeping in mind that when I finished my other save, when I had wiped it, I think I had like, I was nearing 700,000 or 800,000 cookies per second. So I was approaching like the terminal velocity cookie speed of light. And again, it was totally absurd. So I don't know how much further I want to go with this. I kind of want to leave the discovery and the addiction to you guys. If this is something you want to engage in, feel free. It is totally free to play. There is absolutely no string attached to this cookie mechanism. This is completely just a time waster, like I said. You will not end up having to pay for it. They do ask for donations to help get better servers, which I think is entirely reasonable. And if this game takes off, like I imagine it could if people find out about it, then they might need those donations. So maybe you might want to consider giving if you can. I also would be remiss if I didn't mention that I'm pretty sure this is a shout out to Cow Clicker, but I won't get into the story on that. If you want to go look up Cow Clicker, I think that's the title anyway, then you might, you might see some parallels between the two ideas, and I think this is actually a much more user-friendly and less parasitic, perhaps, is the word, use of that concept, although the developer mostly was just doing that as a social experiment, seeing how much people would pay to basically just click on a JPEG and see if it would reverse. That was the whole thing. But this is certainly much more benevolent. There is no money again. So I guess with that, we will wrap up our episode on Cookie Clicker. Click on it if you dare. Hopefully clear your schedules and, don't wreck your life over it. It's not worth it. They're just cookies, man. They're not even real. If you got, like, a real box of cookies at the end of this, maybe that would make a little bit more sense. But you don't. It's all up to you how much you want to put in. And maybe you can get to the end of the cookie rainbow and come out with 99 billion cookies, or however many it takes. Maybe you can go to the trillions. I don't even know how many characters this game supports, but after a while, the amount you'll get per second is just going to be silly. I mean, you could just kind of cheat and just leave the game on overnight. Once you get to a certain point, you'll probably have enough to buy just about everything. Although the number is pretty staggering that you would need to get everything, so I don't know. But that is just one option. So I guess with that, we will wrap things up. The link for this is going to be right in the description if you want to try it yourself, as well as all my social media links. So if you want to go browse around, feel free. I've got a Twitter account, I've got a YouTube channel, obviously, as you're watching it. I've got a Twitch channel, I've got a Facebook. All of that stuff is accessible. I mentioned the YouTube channel in case you happen to be watching this on the site, actually, because some people might only watch stuff over there. But the site is indie-impressions.com. Feel free to browse around. I've got over 500 other indie games available for your perusal. If you want to look through them, they're all sorted and tagged properly. Maybe we will make it, actually, to the factory, and that'll be our closeout moment. I guess I'll take a quick moment here and just turbo-click. And feel free, if you are enjoying the series, of course, leave any support you can. I always appreciate comments. What do you think about this style of game? Is this something that you find to be more exploitive than an actual game, or is this more like an experiment in game design? I think it kind of is. But I'm curious to hear your perspectives on that. And of course, any likes are always welcome as well. If you think that the series is informational and useful to you, of course, a like is much appreciated, but that is entirely up to you if you think I deserve one. So here we go. We should be just about to a factory. And there we go. We got a factory. And we got a bunch of achievements, hardcore banking, and production chains. So you'll see we've unlocked another of these little, I don't know what you want to call them, slices of life in the cookie production world. And now our cookie production is up to 15.5 per second. That will start to skyrocket once we get to the mines, shipment, alchemy lab, and so on and so forth. Portals make the biggest difference. Those unlock, I think, 6,666 cookies per second. So if you can make it that far, to give you some perspective, that's where you'd be. But anyway, that is going to do it, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out, as always. I hope you'll come back again tomorrow, because I do a new episode of Indie Impressions every single day without fail. So I will see you back then, and I hope you have a lovely night. Enjoy your cookies, guys. Later.